Hi, it's Susan Proper. Good to see you on this Wednesday evening. We are in the path of, or the potential path of Hurricane Dorian, or maybe it's not a hurricane yet. Maybe it's still a tropical storm. I don't know. Anyway, it's Wednesday. It's coming up on Labor Day weekend. And yeah, Dorian is headed this way. You know, when I first moved to Florida, one of the reasons that I moved to this particular area that we're in, which is pretty central, we're very close to Orlando, is because we thought, well, it's going to be pretty safe from hurricanes, and you know, we won't have to worry about that too much. Well, I think we had lived here for about 3 years, and Hurricane Irma went smack over my house. And anyway, so here we are. There's another one headed this way. So Labor Day weekend's coming up, and Labor Day weekend is a time to honor those who work hard all year long, those who put in a hard day's work and get to take a long weekend and enjoy themselves. And so tonight, my focus is all about rest and calm and, excuse me, and all about enjoying the moment now, enjoying your time now, and focusing on the now. And I guess I would like to ask you, those of you who are watching right now, hi Vicky, and anybody else who's out there watching right now, how would you define time well spent? Looking back over my career and my life, I probably would have defined that very differently maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago than I would right now. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but I'm just curious. Take a moment, maybe think about how you would, hi Erica, define time well spent. Would you define it maybe checking off your to-do list, or finishing a big project that's sort of been looming overhead, cleaning out your closet, or getting the extra spare room finally organized, or cleaning out your files, or something productive, right? That's how a lot of us picture time well spent. Or maybe you picture it sharing time with your family or time with your friends. But I bet you most of you didn't think of that right away. I know I probably wouldn't think of that right away either. But really, if you think about living meaningfully, not mindfully, but meaningfully, it doesn't necessarily mean doing something. It doesn't mean busyness. It can mean sitting in your garden, or in a park, or in a field, and just listening to the birds, or just enjoying the breeze and the scent of the flowers where you're sitting. But it doesn't necessarily mean doing anything more than that in that moment, in that now. a meaningful life can just mean enjoying that moment in that perfect day in your life. And I don't think a lot of us think that that's necessarily time well spent. So that's sort of where we're headed tonight, in time well spent. We're going to be spending some time in some luxurious and beautiful poses tonight. They're going to be comfortable poses. They're going to be productive poses, in a way, but they're going to be comfortable and luxurious poses that you can enjoy. But first, I would like to read a poem to you by Mary Oliver. And Mary Oliver is a poet laureate. She passed away this year, I believe. And the name of this poem is The Summer Day. It's a short poem, so you don't have to panic. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaw back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down into the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? I think it's a very beautiful poem. And think about what it is that you want to do with your one wild and precious life. Spend your time well. Not necessarily busy doing, but having a meaningful life. All right. I guess we're ready. So I'm going to move back to my mat. I'm going to start with some breath work. I am going to put on my oils first. Today I've got Stress Away and I've got Lavender because I want it to be really calm. Stress Away is a combination of lime and copaiba, and I think vanilla is in there. It's just beautiful. It's actually my favorite oil. I almost could use it as a fragrance. So I'm going to use that and a little bit of lavender, which makes a great blend with Stress Away. Really relaxing, just lovely. I think I'm going to put a dot on the top of my head. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to move back to my mat and we'll start with some breath work. Tonight we're going to do the 4-7-8. For those of you who have been with me before, you should be somewhat familiar with it. But I will explain it again when I get back on my mat. And then also we will be doing our yin tonight. Again, luxurious, comfortable, long poses. And if anybody is new to yin, I will give a brief explanation before we get started on that as well. All right, here we go. So find yourself an easy seat. Now you would sit normally on your mat lengthwise, but I'm sitting facing the camera, so I'm sitting crosswise on my mat. Now, the 4-7-8 breathing practice calms the nervous system. It's extremely calming for the nervous system. It's almost like a tranquilizer for the nervous system. And it's something that you can practice daily. When you're first practicing it, you should probably only do it 4 times in a row until you gradually work your way up to do it maybe 8 times in a row. You probably don't want to do it more than that. And it should probably, if you're practicing it daily, it might take you a couple of weeks to work yourself up to about 8 breaths in the 4-7-8 method. So this is a good breath practice to follow if you're having trouble sleeping. It's also good if you are in a anxious situation or if you feel in a stress situation and you don't want to overreact. You can take a pause and practice this breath. And in that situation, you may want to just do it the 4 times rather than the 8 times if that's enough for you. But it really does calm the nervous system. It will relieve stress, make your whole body just relax. Okay? So we're going to do 4 today. And the way it works is that you're going to inhale to 4, the count of 4. You're going to hold your breath for 7, and then you're going to exhale to 8. And then the entire time that you're doing this, the tip of your tongue is going to be behind your 2 front teeth. So it's going to be right behind the 2 front teeth on the sort of at the roof of your mouth. So when you inhale, that's where it is. When you hold your breath, that's where it is. And when you exhale, mouth open, that's where it is, okay? So I'm going to do 1, and just as an example, and then I'll do 4 more, and you can follow along with me for those 4. So you're going to inhale, the tongue is behind my teeth on the roof of the mouth. And then I'm going to hold for 7. And now I'm going to exhale for 8, but I'm going to do it with my mouth open, tongue in place. Makes a soft whistling sound, okay? So now let's begin. Sit in a nice, comfortable, easy seat. Spine is relatively straight as you can make it. Shoulders relaxed. And inhale to 4 through the nose and your tongue behind your teeth. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Okay. Again, inhale 4. Hold. Exhale to 8. Again, inhale to 4. Hold. Exhale to 8. Last one. Inhale 4. Exhale. And now just breathe normally. You may notice that your heartbeat has slowed some. It's a really relaxing breath work. Okay, good. It's a great way to start a practice too. So now we're just going to do a little bit of a warm-up, and then we'll get into our yin practice. So let's just roll our shoulders back. And forward. Good. And now take your right ear, bring it to the right shoulder. Make sure you keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. And then bring your chin to your chest. Left ear to left shoulder. You want to feel a nice stretch. And then just sweep across from left to right, nice and gentle. Good. Bring your head back to neutral. Inhale the arms up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. This time exhale the right hand to the left knee, and then bring that left arm behind you for a torso twist, spinal twist. Your drishti can be wherever is comfortable for your neck. You can look to the side. You can look forward behind you. Inhale up. And now we'll exhale, twist the opposite direction. Lubricate that spine, get your juices flowing. Inhale up, and then exhale your hands to your thighs again. Bring your legs out to front. Inhale up, and then just stretch forward. Doesn't matter if you reach anywhere near your feet. We're just stretching out the backs of the legs a little bit, just a little bit. When we do stretches like this, we're doing breaths, between 3 and 5 breaths per hold. All right, and come on back up. So now we're going to start our yin work. And for those of you who may not know much about yin, yin is, unlike yang yoga, yin yoga works deep tissue. Yang yoga works more, is more dance-like. You're flowing, you're moving, works muscle a little bit. Sometimes if you're doing power yoga, you're getting into cardio. Yin yoga, you're working deep tissue, you're getting into your fascia, your joints, your ligaments, and your tendons. You're not moving as fast. It's not dynamic. As a matter of fact, you're not moving fast at all. In yin yoga, you find your ideal position in the pose, and you maintain that position anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. You try to remain relatively still, and while you are doing so, there's tension and compression that takes place within your joints and your ligaments and your tendons and in the fascia, and that is how yin works. That's how you get all that deep tissue activity going on. So it's not at all like a yang yoga. So tonight we're going to start off in child's pose, and we're going to be there, as I mentioned earlier. Tonight we're doing long, luxurious poses because we're into the Labor Day weekend, and I want you to just all really relax. I do want you to feel some sensation. Yin, you do feel sensation. This is not restorative yoga. This is yin. You will feel sensation, but I do want you to have a little bit of luxury tonight. You know, you earned it. It's Labor Day. So let's get into child's pose. If you want bolsters, I will show you how to use that, or if you have a pillow, I will show you how to use that. If you need a blanket, yin is all about finding the right place in your pose. So if your ankles bother you and you feel like you need padding underneath your ankles, go right ahead and do that. If you feel like you need a little cushion here because you can't get all the way down to your heels, you can do that. If you want a bolster to cuddle up to, you can do that. There's many ways to make yourself feel good in the position. Bernie Clark says yin is, I can't remember the exact terminology he used, but it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. One's too small, one's too big, but then there's one just right, okay? So that's where you need to find the place in the pose that's just right for you. So basically, child's pose, your knees are mat width apart. You're going to be sitting on your heels, toes are touching, and then you come forward. Now this is your standard child's pose. You're going to be there for 5 minutes tonight, so you may very well want a pillow, and like I said, you may want something here to make yourself feel better. You may want to be like this. You are still getting nice shoulder stretch. You're still stretching out that spine. The intention here is a spinal stretch and a shoulder stretch. Now, you may also feel it in a number of other places. Everybody's body is different. I'm going to time you, And I'm already chopping off a minute because I've been yapping. If anyone's just joining us, we are in child's pose. And we have about another minute and a half. If you are using a bolster or any props at this point, if you could just move them to the side And then just come down on your belly and rest for a moment. Use your arms as a pillow. If you had your head turned in one direction, if you were using a bolster, turn your head in the opposite direction. Okay, gently bring yourself up to seated position. And either find a bolster if you have it. I know not everybody has a bolster, or your pillow. If you have two pillows, that would be even better. I will show you what we're going to do. We're going to do reclined bound angle. So if you have two pillows, what you're going to do is put them directly next to each other. And the one closest to you is just going to line up right with your sacrum. And then you're going to have the soles of your feet together, knees bent. And then you're going to gently bring yourself down to your elbows. Make sure you cradle your head and come down. So this is a real heart opener. Now the closer you bring your feet in towards your groin, the more of a stretch you're going to get. You will feel that tension in your inner thighs. If it bothers your knees, I don't ever want knee pain, no knee pain. If it bothers your knees, find a blanket or a block if you have them. I mentioned before that you can find these blocks really inexpensive, places like TJ Maxx or Targets or something. You can just put something under your knee to give it extra support, okay? So you're gonna have your feet, the soles of your feet touching. Bring them in to a degree where you feel a nice bit of tension in your inner thighs. You want to feel a nice stretch here, nice heart opening. You're going to feel a little bit of a shoulder stretch, and then your arms go out maybe about, I don't know, a foot away from your body, palms up. And this is also another 5-minute long, luxurious pose. We're doing long, luxurious poses for Labor Day weekend. Okay, I'm going to start that timer. like you to do is very gently use your hands to bring your legs together, keeping your knees bent. And if you had anything supporting your knees, just sort of push that aside. And then just windshield wiper your legs a little bit. And then stretch them out long. And roll to the side. And move those bolsters. But keep them handy. And then roll onto your back again and rest. This is sort of a faux Shavasana. Okay, roll to your side again, and then bring yourself up. You can stay on your right side. We're going to use one pillow. Well, you may want to use two. Depends. If you have a bolster is really ideal for this pose. We're going to do sleeping swan. But two pillows may do the trick if you don't have a bolster. So what you want to do is you want to bring your right hip and thigh up to the pillows with the knee bent, okay? And then you're going to bring your left leg long. And then what you're going to do is bring your torso over those pillows and your shoulder over the top. Yeah, I need a little support for my head. So, here we go. My shoulder, my right shoulder and right arm are over the top of the pillow or bolster if you're using a bolster. Palm is up. My shoulder is on the mat, okay? My thigh, my right thigh and my right hip are at the bottom of the pillow. Left leg is long. The hip is facing the ceiling. I have a blanket for my head, otherwise my head is like dangling. It's not good. So I have a little blanket here for my head. My left arm goes over my left ear, and my hand, my fingertips just touch the floor. This is sleeping swan. Now, the intention of this pose is for you to feel a stretch down your entire left side. You should feel a stretch all the way down, through the armpit, all the way down the rib cage, all the way down the left leg. I feel it most intensely in my armpit. slowly bring your left arm back down to your side. And then straighten your right leg. Roll onto your belly, move the pillows away, and then just rest for a minute with your head on your hands, using your hands as a pillow. Okay, and then bring yourself back up again. And now this time, you are going to have the pillows on your left side. So you'll line the pillows up with your left thigh and left hip. That knee is bent. The right leg goes long. Oh, I need the blanket. And then you bring your torso up over those pillows. Bring your shoulder over the tops of the pillows, down to the mat. Palm up. If you need it, have a little support for your head. So again, your thighs at the bottom of the pillows, or bolster if you're using a bolster. Shoulder at the tops of the pillows or bolster. And your shoulders on the mat, palm up. And the right arm goes up over your head, aligned with your ear, and then your fingers down on the floor. And you may notice that one side feels entirely different than the other. Now, when I was laying on my right side, I felt a real intense stretch in my armpit. On this side, I don't have that same sensation. I do feel sensation in my arm, but not in the armpit. More in the shoulder area. But the intent here is for you to get a full stretch on the right side of the body. Slowly bring that right arm back down to your side. And straighten the left leg. Roll onto the belly and push those pillows aside. And then rest, using your hands and arms as a pillow. Okay, from here we're going to move into legs up the wall. Won't be quite as long in that pose because your feet will fall asleep probably. So for this one, I usually recommend a block if you have it. A pillow works. But if you have a block, I just somehow feel a block is a little bit better for a lift. But pillow also works. I'll show you how to do this with a pillow. Want to go back. Again, use your elbows. Drop yourself back. Make sure your head is cradled. Lift your sacrum and bring that pillow directly underneath your sacrum. Lift a leg, lift a leg. Your feet are up, arms by your side. For me, personally, I prefer using a block. Same methodology to get yourself there. Block goes right underneath the sacrum. Lift the leg, lift the leg. Arms right by my side. So, this pose is really good if you have high blood pressure, if you have insomnia. If you are under doctor's care for a heart condition, however, I would suggest that you check with your doctor before doing this for any extended period of time, because this will make the blood rush from your feet towards your heart. Oops. How did I have a timer? That's interesting. All right, one more minute. This you can also do directly up against the wall if you want. You don't have to use a block or a bolster. You can do it directly up against the wall. If you are going to do this pose directly up against the wall, the best approach is to go into the wall sideways. So you're going to, I'll show you that in a second. All right, drop your legs and then pull out the block or the pillow. Keep your knees bent and just rest. This is called passive rest. And while you are in passive rest, I'm going to explain. If you want to do legs up the wall without a block or bolster, pretend this is a wall. You're going to approach the wall sideways, just like I am here right now, okay? And then you're just going to swing your hips and come around like that. That gets your booty closer to the wall than you would if you tried to just sort of shimmy yourself up against the wall. Okay? It just works better that way. Okay. So from passive rest, we're going to go into a spinal twist. So I want you to go post your arms and then drop your legs to the left and bring your chin to the right. Slowly bring your legs back to center, keeping the knees bent. And just lift your sacrum just a tiny bit, and then drop it back down on the mat. And then drop your knees to the right, and your chin to the left. Slowly bring your legs back to center. Lift the sacrum just a bit. Windshield wiper your legs back and forth. And then when it feels right for you, stretch your legs long and find your Shavasana. Whatever you need, blankets, pillows, adjust yourself so that you find your comfort in your Shavasana. Take a nice deep breath and sigh it out. Begin to bring movement to your body, your fingers and your toes. Feel your presence. Come back to the room that you are in. Give yourself a nice stretch. Maybe hug your knees into your chest. Massage your spine, massage your sacrum. Do whatever feels right. And then gently roll yourself over onto one side. And then softly bring yourself up to a seated position with your eyes closed. And think again, as we did in the beginning of this session tonight, how you define time well spent. Think about living meaningfully and how that doesn't necessarily mean doing something. It can mean sitting back and doing nothing. It can mean listening to the birds. It can mean feeling the breeze on your face, smelling flowers, listening to the ocean. Being with family and friends. Whatever brings meaning to your life. Not busyness, not projects, not doing necessarily, but meaning. I'll just quote that last sentence from Mary Oliver's poem, The Summer Day. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? I thank you for sharing this session with me tonight. Bring your hands to your heart. It's always an honor to be with you and spend this time with you. And it's always a surprise for me because I never know who will be here. And that makes it meaningful. It makes it very, very special. And I thank you. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. And I wish you peace, and I wish you joy, and I wish you luxury and comfort and long, slow weekend for this Labor Day. Namaste. Make it meaningful, make it wonderful. Have a great weekend. And I hope I see you at the Circle on September 8th. And I will see you the next time on Facebook Live. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy. Bye.